everywhere, and everyone talks about mobility as a service. Thus, today, we introduce the mobility as a service. No? Okay, yes, sorry. Starting from the definition of MAS, why MAS is a successful approach in Europe and in the world. So some benefits, the added values of MAS, the typology of MAS, introducing the 5 different levels of MAS. Okay, several definitions of MAS are surfing the web. My favorite one is conceived by MAS Alliance. That is a private-public partnership. Now counts more or less 80 members. It's located in Brussels, and the aim of MAS Alliance is to promote and disseminate this new approach, and with the different working group, also to define recommendation and guidelines to be MAS compliant. So, as you can see here, the definition of mobility as a service, is the integration of various forms of transport services into a single mobility service accessible on demand. So to meet the requests from customers, so different needs from our different customers, so different end users. The MAS operator the MAS operators are the aggregator of data and transform this data in evaluable services and systems to facilitate what? So the movement, so the travels of our users. And when we speak about users, we identify not only the citizens, but also the tourists. So as said before, absolutely the mobility, the transportation and tourism are the bridges between these two topics. So the aim of, the main aim of MAS is to provide an alternative to the use of the private car, okay, more convenient and sustainable, help to reducing congestions, accidents, traffic jam, the problems and constraints in the transport capacity, and of course be even cheaper, we hope. In these pictures, conceived at the same time by MAS Alliance, I think it's well presented all key factors, elements, and aspects of mobility as a service approach. So different transport modes and also different services behind the transport modes. Different environments, so the possibility to use this approach in an urban area, but also in a metropolitan area, and why not in the rural area? Because one of the main problems is to connect the rural area, where probably the transportation is not so efficient or not with the sufficient for the demand, to the hubs or to the main areas and cities. The MAS is a new mobility approach and a new way to offer a transport solution to the end users. The MAS solution offering the possibility to access in a single point a variety of services in the field of mobility and tourism. So not only looking for the best way to move myself, so from Trieste to Zara or to other kind of cities, but also the possibility to have a full experience, a very high experience when I move. So booking and payment system in a single point, so access. So this is the reason the MAS is not a transport service, not a new transport service, but as I say, it's a one-stop shop application, yeah, for mobility services. Why MAS is a successful approach in Europe, but in the world? Probably, so here you can see the main reasons. So the cities are growing, and so the traffic problems, we need to manage this. The new modes of transport and mobility services are emerging, and the transport demand is changing. So if I have, of course, a customized service, why not to choose the sustainable transport? The technological development, of course, and so the MAS can offer new ways of means between the integration of different solutions and services. And so these three main element, tailor mobility services, pay as you go, and new markets are probably the main focus behind the MAS. Okay. And of course, one of the main elements are the benefits. Identify the benefits. Benefits for the three main stakeholders involved in the MAS. The first one is the end user, so we said before, so passengers, so travelers in general. The second one is the public sector and the businesses. So from the users, it's probably cheaper. It's so easier choose MAS solution rather than several application to move within a city for different services. Single account, single access point for satisfy your mobility needs. For the public sector, the main benefit is the optimization efficiently of the resources. This means the creation of new businesses and jobs, improve the management and traffic incidents. And so when we talk about the public sector, I mean the transport operator, or the public transport operator, but also the public authorities that involved. And businesses, because MAS is a profitable market for new transport services and new new stakeholder in this field, so the MAS operator, of course. And as I said before, so the MAS, in many cases, MAS, it's a disruptive concept and approach. Here you can see the added values of MAS, identifying by these four different C. So the first one is the cost. Of course, if we think about the end users, the MAS should be cheaper than the hauling, the private car, or have an annual seasonal ticket, for example. It's convenient, of course, because you have in a single access different services, no crazy for identify to know, for example, the different fare policy in a city, different from another one, but you have everything in a pocket, okay, in a pocket. The third one is the choice that is correlated to the fourth C, the customization, because in this case the users can choose the best travel solution or the best solutions according to the needs, to my needs, not to your needs, but to my needs. And if I can choose, probably my choice is different from yours, for example. And so for me, the perception is to have a tailored solution. And the experience so is completely different. And the expectation, of course. And the end, here you can see so the typology of mobility as a service, starting from identified by 5 different levels. So from 0 to 4th level. And on the left, you can see so the name of different levels, and on the right, so some example. No integration, so means we have no integration between services, existing services and systems. And for example, Hertz is an example of this. It's a rental car. No integration with other services. The second one is the integration of information. So sometimes we can identify so the multimodal travel planner, but no other integration or with other services, no transport mode services. So in this case, for example, the Oyster card, so from Transport for London or Lyft, this is so a ride sharing. Then we have added values. So the third level is the integration of booking and payment. So now we added 2 different services to complete my travel experience. So if within so the second level I can just looking for a travel solution, multimodal travel solution, but now I can also book and pay for this. So here you can see some different so example, Move It, My Cicero, and so Mile and so on. Then we have another kind of typology of mobility as a service, that is the integration of services offered. And here we mean so the possibility to create the packages, the mobility packages. So you have like, so I don't know, 50 euros, okay? And you can, 50 euros, and you can choose all available services, of course, and without, and pay as you go. So without thinking about how I need to spend for this or for this. So at the end of the month, you have your billing with the best price will be applied for this. And so the last level is the integration of societal goals, where the supply and demand the demand are the same goal in combination with policies. So probably this is the main problem, the critical aspect now, where the Mass Alliance, for example, is working also on this to promote this final aspect, to have a very fully and complete mass solution. This is it's not easy to reach, but a lot of association working on this, because here the difference is also on the responsibility for the users about the travels and contract and so on. Here you can see the most complete list of different typology of mobility as a service. Yeah, you can see the name, where these services are available. The models, yeah, so the different kind of modes of transport includes, and the level. Here, yeah, just some example of existing mass solutions. And here just a few links, in my opinion, where you can find a lot of information and relevant information. So about the Mass Alliance, the Mass Guide, the definition, different examples and guidelines and so on. Yeah, that's all.